The second, prajna. Prajna is wisdom. Wisdom. The ultimate and perfect wisdom is inherent in our own nature and does not come from outside. With immeasurable and boundless wisdom, there is nothing in this world, in other places, in the past, and in the future, that you do not know. This is knowledge. What is known is now not known. And what is not known becomes an obstacle. Knowing is inherent. And now there is an obstacle that blocks our knowledge, which is called knowledge obstacle. Knowing obstacles and afflictions are named differently. Afflictions are obstacles, and knowing is not an obstacle. If we talk about it from the perspective of Buddhism, delusions, distinctions, and attachments. Attachments are obstacles to afflictions. And they are completely afflictions. Part of the distinction is afflictions, and part of them is obstacles to perception. And delusion is completely obstacles to perception. Some people ask, where does ignorance come from? How did ignorance come about? In fact, Shakyamuni Buddha spoke very clearly and thoroughly at the Shurangama assembly, and people who read the Shurangama Sutra swallowed it whole and just passed it on in a vague way. The Buddha made it very clear. Knowledge and knowledge are the foundation of ignorance. What is knowledge and vision? Knowledge is knowing. And knowing is prajna wisdom. If you want to establish knowledge within what you know, you are wrong. Putting a head on top of your head is the root of ignorance. You shouldn't establish another knowledge based on what you know, and your wisdom will appear. If you want to establish a knowledge, what can you do? Let's take an example. You can see this clearly. We use this metaphor, and everyone can see clearly and clearly. This is knowledge. After finishing it, he immediately fell into ignorance. Is this thing called a book? Is this thing called a hand? You build the hand, and you build the book. If you want to build this book in this hand, you will be finished. And this is ignorance. Buddhism did not come to China, and the Chinese are very smart. Lao Tzu knew, the name which can be named is not the real name. The Tao which can be expressed is not the everlasting Tao. You are wrong when you say a name. It is your own meaning, not the truth. So if you establish knowledge on knowledge and perception, you will fall into ignorance. You just have delusions. And there are distinctions and attachments in the delusions. A lot of troubles come, and a series of things come. The Buddha taught us the Dharma. The Buddha said, I. But he was not attached to me. This is brilliant. The sixth patriarch asked Yangja, do you still have differences? Yangja answered very well, making distinctions is not an idea, either. I have no differences. And I really don't have any differences in my heart, and I am clean. What is the difference? Separate for the public. Therefore, to say is to say nothing, to say nothing is to say. If you want to say, say, you don't understand the meaning of no talk. and you don't understand the meaning of Buddha. If saying and no saying are divided into two parts, saying is also wrong, and no saying is also wrong. What is say? Separation and attachment. No saying is ignorance. And they all fall on both sides. You must know that speaking and not speaking are one and the same. Speaking is not speaking, hearing is not heard. Once you understand it, the obstacles will disappear. If you can experience this, the truth of life in the universe will become clear. And you have truly entered the door of non-duality. People in the world live pitifully in relativeness. Relativeness is two. Opposite. There is a small on the opposite side of big, and there is a yes on the other side of empty. Always facing each other, there is a person on the opposite side of I. When will you suddenly realize that I am not different from people? Emptiness is not different from existence. Nature is not different from appearance. Theory is not different from things. And things are not different from things. Only then can you enter Buddhism and understand Buddhism. So where is the difficulty of Buddhism? The difficulty lies in this place. What's the problem? You can never let go of delusions, distinctions, and attachments. As long as you can't let go, you will not be able to enter the door of Mahayana. And Mahayana will never be separated from you. When you study Mahayana, you are only learning superficial common sense. You can't understand what the real Mahayana looks like. This is to tell you prajna. There is also a secret treasury. Secret is a secret, and hidden is contained in the self-nature.